All right, and we're live. Welcome to Filmaholics Entertainment Podcast.
Pew, 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 pew,
Woo!
Let's
Pew,
go.
pew, pew. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first episode. This is episode 1 of the Filmaholics Entertainment Podcast, aka FEP. You are listening to Sexy Kev. I'm here today with Vu. You want to say hi to Vu, to the people, the thousands of listeners around the world?
How's it going, everyone? Excited to be here.
Nice. Nice. And then we also
Yeah.
have Brad here today as well.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode.
There we go. You'll be seeing these three pretty faces. Hopefully, going forward, we'll be adding friends throughout. But really, what the point of this podcast here is just to come from the perspective of casual lovers of film. As you can say, my name is Kevin. Behind me, just give you a little bit of background here. You'll see three of my favorite films. We got Star Wars, Logan, and The Dark Knight, three of the greatest films of all time. And I would like to say I'm a big sci-fi / fantasy / comic lover, but I've also seen every kind of movie under the sun. I've got that A-list pass, baby. Let's go. Vu, if you want to give a little bit of a background on yourself for the people out there listening all around the world.
How's it going, guys? I'm starting to become more of an avid watcher of film. Love all the Marvel comic films. Love the DC films. So from there, I guess film has evolved over the last, decade. So I'm watching a lot more films now. All the hype films that are out, all the hype shows that are out, I'm trying to watch. So, more of a casual viewer, but trying to get more into the sport.
I love it. It is a sport, Vu. I appreciate that hype as well. And Brad, give a little bit of a background on yourself as well, besides the name down in that corner.
I'm just a casual moviegoer kind of guy. Just like Vu, I like to see what's hype. I like to see what's cool. But I also got my little niches, I like my fantasy. I like my sci-fi. And I like my horror. I like getting scared.
Oh yeah. What was the last movie we saw together? That was horror. It
Evil
was
Dead.
The Evil Dead. Oh, forever screwed up from that movie. Oh my god.
Forever trauma.
Yeah, forever trauma. Did you ever see that movie or no? I'm assuming not.
I have not. I gotta add it to the list now.
No, I wouldn't add it to the list. Yeah, with the debut of Max, maybe you can add that to your list and watch it on there. I don't know. But yeah, really the point of the show.
Today.
Yeah, big debut. And that's what I was going to again, really, it's going to be, we try to keep this casual. So we've got a list of a few topics just to run down the agenda for today. We've got a couple of topics, movie news. We've got a couple of movie reviews that'll be quick. And also we're going to go over what we're watching. And we're going to end the show off with the big highlight, the main event of the evening, our top 5 movies of the summer we are looking forward to. Now, I will say this. It is a little awkward because it is May 23rd?
Mm-hmm.
So the movie season has started. I say, nay to those. And you'll see a couple of mine that I've already watched that were on my list. But, hey, we got to put it out there and let the people know what we're looking forward to. So are you guys ready to get the show on the road?
Let's do it.
All right, let's rock. All right. First on the agenda for today is we're going to go over this. We're going to go over, and this is one of the biggest movies. This is the reason why we have Brad on here as kind of a special guy. And also Vu recently did a little bit of extra commitment for this story here. We want to discuss the new trailer for maybe the most hyped movie for out of us. Maybe the one out of all the movies that are kind of sci-fi fantasy that might get an award this Oscar season. Yeah, we're talking about Dune 2, baby. All right. So it was about a 2-minute and 30-second trailer. Before we even go into this, if you want, Brad, do you have a good rundown? Maybe Vu, if you guys have a good rundown of what Dune is kind of like about.
Ooh, good question. Basically, the whole series is like, don't trust the sexy leaders. You can't, it's like a messiah. You can't just follow them, because what you end up with, and you'll see in the series, is a complete universe-wide like genocide with the Fremen people, following their messiah Paul Atreides,
who is played by somebody kind of famous,
Chalamet.
correct? Yeah, Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, some would say the Daniel Day-Lewis of this generation.
Ooh,
I don't know, maybe not me. Yeah, yeah, and that was released back in, gosh, when was that movie released? 2021.
I believe so. 2021.
Yeah, and Vu, you had just recently
I'm
watched
just a
the
little
movie
late
itself.
to it.
Yeah, for the first time, Vu
finished it last
has
night.
actually watched it. I mean, Vu, if you want to give a quick, and it's one thing.
Yeah.
It also the big thing about Dune. It takes place on multiple planets, but it takes place on a what was it, a desert planet.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
nice
the original
desert planet.
Yeah, the original. Who's starring? We got Timothée Chalamet in it playing Paul. We've got
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac playing his father.
A little bit of
Zendaya. Yeah.
Yep.
Which was that accurate with the book? Do you know, Brad? Like,
she doesn't come up till probably the middle point, which is where we get part 2 starting.
Okay, gotcha.
Have you read all the books then, Brad?
So there were 6 books written, I believe, by the main author, and I'm on book 5.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Should we?
And these first two movies cover book 1.
Oh, okay. So lots of movies potentially.
Yeah. I think there is also, besides these Dune movies, there's I think the Sisters of Dune. I think it's supposed to be, or Sisters of, what are they called?
The Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, I think the Sisters, but that's an HBO Max. Well, not HBO Max anymore. We'll go into that, but it's supposed to be kind of a spin-off series that they're going to be doing as an HBO type.
Because Frank Herbert, series. He's the author, and I believe his son went on to write some books as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so just to give you guys a rundown, we already talked about Timothy. We already talked about Zendaya. We got the beautiful Rebecca Ferguson. Oh, Oscar Isaac as well. Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, the swordsman. Christopher Walken's in there. I don't remember what the hell he is in that movie, though.
Emperor.
The Emperor. Okay, gotcha.
The
Dave
most
Bautista.
Powerful man.
Yep. And then Josh Brolin. I would say those are probably the big names that we can think of in the original one. But the biggest thing about these movies is that one, Denis Villeneuve. Oh God, Villeneuve, I think is his name. We screwed that up. Somebody
the director.
in the chat. The director, yes, known for making Arrival. Known for making
Sicario.
Sicario, God, most underrated movie I think of all time. Nobody talks about that movie. I'm getting all excited thinking about it. That might be the next one on here. He's a director in the prime of his career and one thing that's nice is that HBO has him on their payroll. I would say he's equivalent right now to where Christopher Nolan was during The Dark Knight. I would say that's where they're perfectly.
High honors.
Exactly, and that's I think I think it was the first Dune was nominated for 12 Oscars. I think it won 6. More of the technical side of thing. But that was also kind of just a strange year for Oscars in general. So, when it comes to that, not only did it win awards, it also made a good amount of money for being the 2021 season. I remember I saw it in IMAX, and I just remember being blown away by one thing, the scope, the story, the acting, but just the idea of you truly felt like you were immersed into the Dune world. Vu, give me your idea. Give me your thoughts, and then Brad as well add to that after Vu on what you thought, considering you just recently watched it.
Yeah, I thought the story was super interesting. That sci-fi aspect to it felt like I was in obviously another planet watching the movie, going through this genocidal effect that's going on all over the spice, which is the treasured mineral out there that everybody's coveted. Women are coveting spiritual purposes, but everybody else uses it for travel, if I'm not mistaken. And just the acting was crazy. I thought all the actors, all the A-list celebs were great. And the story was, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I can't believe they killed off most of the cast.
Yeah, I would say, and I think one thing that's great about that movie too, and Brad, you can add to this, is the idea that it's pretty faithful to the books, wouldn't you say?
Mostly so, yes, mostly so. But obviously there's going to be some changes. That's what happens when you translate it to film. But for me, it was 2 things. You can't deny Hans Zimmer. I mean, the soundtrack was elite. I'll just put it on and I'll just go for a walk and I'll just listen to the whole thing.
Yep.
But also, I just felt like every set piece was just epic. Like every scene by itself was just epic in its scale, its scope, music, how it was laid out. Like it was just, it was just like candy. Like every scene was just perfection.
It was like spice. Every scene was like spice.
Spice melange.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that's crazy about the Dune books, they were made back in like the 1960s. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at movies. Almost any sci-fi film made after this book, I'm pretty sure takes liberties from the books themselves. I mean, Star Wars right behind me on my right corner, if I correct. Yeah, that's my right corner, right shoulder. I think the lightsabers were taken. I mean, almost everything was really taken, almost not copy pasted, but a lot of inspiration from Dune. And I never saw the original movies. Did any of you guys see those?
I have not.
I know it's like a cult classic. Like if you're at a comic book store.
Dune.
Oh, I don't know if you guys ever watched the oh god, what was the show on ABC, Desperate Housewives? It was like the husband of one of the Desperate Housewives was like the main character in it. Yeah, I mean it's a movie that kind of like, everyone. It's a cult classic. People kind of joke about it, but it's nothing like this, and that's what was kind of the big difference maker when it came to this. So right now we're talking about the Dune 2 trip. One thing I noticed when I looked at this Dune 2 trailer is, one, they're following the story. It leads off of with Dune 1, and I'm sorry if anyone here is going to get spoilers, but essentially Paul has taken over as kind of like the leader of like a new clan, a sand clan, correct?
The Fremen people.
The Fremen people, that's
right. The native people of Arrakis.
Yep, exactly. After essentially, what happened was like they went to this new land. It wasn't called Arrakis. Took over essentially. Then essentially were taken by what they call the Baron. Is that his name?
Baron Harkonnen, House Harkonnen.
If you want to add to this, Brad and Vu, how essentially what leading up to Dune 2, I mean, it's really just like, they end up taking over. Like Vu said, lots of people end up dying from there. But yeah, this new trailer, I mean, it looks, again, spectacular. It looks big in scope. And I'd say, it adds a lot of new faces and characters. I mean, Vu and Brad, what do you guys think of Florence Pugh and Austin Butler being added to the fold now with, Timothée Chalamet? I mean, this is the future of movies all in one film.
I think all of their casting choices have been great.
Yeah, I don't know too, what characters are they playing? Yeah, I mean, do you know what the characters are playing?
Pugh plays the daughter of the Emperor, which I will note, you do not see Christopher Walken in the trailer. They are keeping that under wraps.
Okay, gotcha. So she's playing the daughter, and then Austin Butler. Was there anybody else that I'm missing that's supposed to be in this Dune 2 movie?
And then, Austin Butler, he's playing essentially the opposite Timothée Chalamet. He's playing the bad guy, the Harkonnen.
So he's the new main bad guy.
He's the guy with all the white skin, no hair.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dang. That's crazy to think about. Yeah. I mean, I think it's on top of my list for the film this year. The trailer does a great job. I think it was a better first trailer than the first Dune was. I remember there's all this hype for the first Dune trailer, and then I think I was a little disappointed by it. It seemed like it was not as epic and kind of, I don't know, this more I guess would go for like the casual watcher. They're trying to get more people. I think this ends up being a $1 billion movie for Denis Villeneuve, and I'm excited, just excited to see this in theaters coming this November, I think. Is that correct?
And I'm just going to be curious on the length of the movie, because if you've read the book or know the plot, there is still a lot they have to get through. Yeah.
I mean, this is literally where I stopped in the book. I don't know anything that happens after the first movie. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I'm excited. When someday we'll have to create a top 10 list of our movies, I guess, of the year. That's one thing I do want to kind of do, is kind of a running list of our top 10 movies of the year. Kind of like, after each episode, let's say, FastX comes up, ends up, beating out Guardians of the Galaxy for #1 movie of the year. Boom. And we can, kind of keep adding it throughout the year. Just kind of a fun thing, give or take, and kind of an easy way for you to track. I know myself, I'm going to be adding to my letterbox a little bit more now because of this podcast. So you guys can follow me there.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Any other thoughts you guys want to add before we move on to the next topic?
Let's move on.
All right. You guys are ready?
Yeah.
All right. So topic number 2 of today is HBO Max. No more. Today is a new age is born. Max the app. Yeah, baby. HBO, and I do want to confirm this, that what happens is that HBO Max essentially has become now Max. after the Warner Brothers and Discovery merger. Max is where you come from, not only HBO, but also your Discovery Plus content. So anything with Shark Week, what the hell does Discovery even show anymore? I don't know how Discovery bought Warner Brothers out. Do you guys watch anything?
Nickelodeon. They had the Champions League soccer.
Wait, Discover? I thought that was Viacom.
I thought I could watch SpongeBob.
If you could, damn, that's not a bad IP, I guess, to have on your property. I don't know. I used to watch Dirty Jobs on Discovery. Shark Week, I guess, is a classic. Man vs. Wild. You got anybody?
Bear Grylls?
Bear Grylls, yeah.
He was my hero growing up.
And then I'm trying to think, what was that show where they did like tests on things to see if it was Mythbusters? I used to watch Mythbusters as well.
Also a great show.
I was gonna say, do you guys have any fond memories of Discovery Plus and anything before? I mean, I'm so surprised they have enough money to take over one Warner Brothers.
Honestly, I wasn't a big Discovery guy back in the day. So.
And I think you're the normal. I think you're the normal watcher of that. Honestly, I don't think anyone's like. I don't think anyone's running to download the app. I'm pretty sure it was like the worst app out of all the streaming services.
Yeah, I don't know how this acquisition happened.
Yeah, so HBO Max no longer works. So you're allowed to. I tried it today. Yeah, I pre-ordered it because I'm a freaking dweeb, and so like what I did is this morning I signed in with my HBO Max account. Yeah, it's out. Yeah, hey everybody. We can now confirm. You've heard it here first. Max is now out on the App Store. Let's go, Vu. Yeah, yep. We better be credited for that too. If we're not credited, breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. It shows Vu on CNN with the with the app.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, honestly, I think it's the worst name ever. What do you guys think of the name Max?
I was just gonna say that terrible name.
Yeah, when you have an entity
what does that even
like
mean?
HBO, when you have an entity like HBO on your name, and you decide, you know what, let's go with Max. Not even Discovery or Discover Max or only thing in one of my podcasts always talks about this is when I think of Max, I think of Skinamax. I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to remember that back in the day. Late night television, channel 386.
He's got it memorized.
I got it memorized, baby. Come on. But no, yeah, I mean, that's what I kind of think of when I think that. Now, like they're like one of their taglines is for HBO, go to Max. I don't know why they just didn't decide with like HBO. Hell, I even liked HBO Now better than this, but I don't know. I guess that's just like the brand new name. And what's kind of funny is that there were errors with people trying to sign in today. I don't know why people were trying to watch HBO at 8 a.m., 7 a.m., but I guess they were. But there was a lot of reported errors with people trying to log in, just a lot of technical issues, as you would probably understand with anything that's brand new. So it's kind of like a memory, and it's kind of like a tribute. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a memory and kind of a tribute. I want to ask you guys this today. What are some of your guys' you can see come up with 5 or your top 5 favorite HBO shows that you guys in memory of a product that no longer is the main focal point of I guess the damn app. And if you guys want, I can start off first with it, but unless Brad or anybody, but number 1 has to be Game of Thrones, right?
I will defer to Sexy Kev first.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, right? Yeah, I mean Game of Thrones, the dragons, not the Harkonnens. Wait, am I mixing in? Mixing?
Kevin.
Oh no! I take it back. No, but Game of Thrones. I mean, you got the dragons, you got the love, the incest, the family drama.
Americans love the incest.
American, I think actually Europeans, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But I mean, that's probably the number 1 show of all time. I mean, what do you get after Game of Thrones? What do you guys think is number 2 when you think of HBO?
For me, Westworld season 1.
I'm actually watching Sopranos. Ooh.
Oh, Sopranos.
I would say Sopranos.
Fantastic
right
choice.
Now.
Fantastic choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I mean, Sopranos is essentially what created HBO in general.
I think also
back. Oh, what did you hear what Vu said there?
I did not.
Vu, do you want to repeat what you said? I think your internet's going in and out a little bit. I think we lost him.
Oh, I just said, yeah, I just love Sopranos. You guys hear me?
It's kind of in and out. There you are. Yeah, I would agree. I would say Sopranos is number 2. I think Westworld is up there now. I don't like to talk about the other seasons of Westworld. Season 1 for sure.
I agree. Sadly, I agree.
Yeah, even season 2 wasn't terrible, but I just I don't know, man.
It got away from itself.
Gosh, I was just talking to Lindsay about this, Brad, about the memories of watching HBO or Westworld, and that every week was literally like, oh my gosh, a new thing was being uncovered. It was like the excitement. There hadn't been something that excitement in a long time.
It's just the kind of show where, like, after it ends, you and your buddies just talk about it for then another hour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just so unique. Like, what was the world? Where were they at? Why were there robots dealing with cowboys? It just was such a unique series perspective. Brad, what other kind of shows would you add to your list?
True Detective, season 1.
Oh, True Detective season 1.
I mean, McConaughey with Woody Harrelson, come on.
Oh, God, that was one. Lindsay and I, when we first met, we were watching that show together. Became obsessed with it. Watched like 5 episodes. I don't think I've ever been able to binge a show with Lindsay as much as I was able to binge that show. So
just so well done acting wise, and the mystery and the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that one episode where it was like I believe it was where they're fighting in the neighborhood.
The one shot.
Wow.
9 minutes of perfection.
It's just so impressive.
I have that in my playlist I sent you, Brad, of the best movie scenes. It's amazing. Vu,
I gotta add that to my list now. I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen True Detective?
I haven't seen True Detective yet.
Oh, some would say it's the reason
adding it to the list though.
I think it was right around, because Matthew McConaughey used to be kind of like the heartthrob, the guy in all these, these comedies, these romantic comedies. And I think this was the show he was in before he was in Dallas Buyers Club, which he won that award for. And if I recall, this was essentially like the Green Lantern being like, no, he's not just a typecast character. He can actually take a scene. He can actually lead a movie and lead. I think maybe one of the top. I completely agree with you there, Brad. Some of the great, and then Woody Harrelson. I mean, their dynamic was so damn natural, and it makes sense why they're best friends in real life. So why not make a show about it? So no, Vu, watch that show ASAP. It is so good. Vu, all right, you're up next. Any show you would add to your top HBO shows of all time or movies?
I was a big fan of Entourage back in the day. Huge fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys that.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it
following
either.
Vinny Chase, kind of like.
Yeah. So I couldn't afford it.
I think it was kind of based around Mark Wahlberg, right?
Yes, based around Mark Wahlberg. I watched it on Spike TV, where the Man Channel, I think they called it back in the day. I don't really know what their tagline was, but I think I've seen every single episode, but I've never seen them in order. So no, I think that's definitely a good one, and I couldn't tell you at all what the story is like, but I mean it's an entertaining watch. And then are we missing any others that we can think of that are like elite? I mean, of course we got House of the Dragon, Barry. I would add to that list myself. I am obsessed with Barry.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, low key.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm, 100% Curb Your Enthusiasm, 100% Succession. Brad, what season are you on in Succession again?
I'm in the middle of season 3. It's just not a bingeable show for me.
It's dense. It's difficult. And then when you start season 4 up, there's things brought up from like season 2 that you're like, what the hell? That's how are they bringing this in here?
I need recap videos.
Show. Oh yeah, 100%. Lindsay and I watched I listened to the podcast afterwards. I'm one of those guys who I can tell you about each episode, but it's not on my own.
You listen to the HBO Succession podcast?
I listen to another podcast that are just like some Joe Schmoes like us. John Roca, the Outlaw Channel Nation on YouTube. Him and I think his name's Shannon something. they go through each episode and they do a really great breakdown and just helps me understand because I don't got a big brain. So, it's a little bit, but it's a great weekly episodic show. Which one?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you
I
listen to?
The one produced by HBO. I don't know who it's by, but they always have like one of the actors from the show on it just to discuss, how they filmed it, just a recap of everything. So,
yeah. I mean, Brad, this is an interesting idea because you're in season 3. Who's your favorite right now? Character.
Ooh. Okay. Tom.
I mean, honestly,
Minnesota boy.
I think Tom might be my favorite still in season 4. I won't spoil anything, but I want to see everything happen good for him. He's your. Oh, I thought Greg was your favorite. Is it Tom?
Greg has to also be close.
And then
you like bitch ass whiny Kendall after season 1. Oh yeah.
I just felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be Tom now.
Yeah.
Tom and Greg, always the comedic relief that we need for a pretty dramatic show, dramatic family.
and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but I'm looking at we have a section here for what are we watching, and we can move on. But what are we watching? And Alex Vu, one of his shows he's watching is freaking hilarious. So I'm excited to run through that. But and then a couple other things. I mean, we can do one more thing. Is just right now there's the writer's strike. I did leave an article in there for you guys to kind of run through. But do you guys understand? Did you guys check that article out at all?
I'm a casual guy. Tell me what it is. Give me the recap.
Yeah, Brad, let me tell you, my friend. So really what's going on right now is that, writers that are in the film industry are getting screwed when it comes to pay. Not making a lot of money. It's hard. Hollywood's expensive. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's not like Mason City, Iowa. But Hollywood is not an easy place to live. And one thing about writers is that it's the job where you're not essentially trying out for roles. You're being asked and brought in. So a lot of your work is up to other people. It's up to other producers, other companies, things like that. And this is something that was I don't know if did you guys remember the writer's strike in 2008? It's
screwed over Lost.
Screwed over Transformers, depending on who you ask. I was a big Transformers guy. I'm trying to think of other shows that also screwed over. I think
it screwed up Heroes.
That was my next one. I was going to say Heroes.
Loved it.
Yeah, I did too. So which just wasn't a good time because you're going with shows where they're going with the first script or the first write-up, and it just made it to where you're getting, what we would call a basic modern day Star Wars movie, with J.J. Abrams as the director. Sorry to be a little angry, but really what it says is just kind of generic writing. And right now what's going on is that, the writer's strike, essentially, we got the writers on one side and we got the producers on the other side, or like the film companies. One wants, we want to be higher paid. We want to be able to, be able to live in Hollywood. We want to be able to have more rights when it comes to making all these, writing for these films, because you don't get great films without great writers. Directors don't do it. Cinematographers don't do it. Executives don't do it. No, it's the writers. So, but then on the other side, you've got the movie producers and the film companies who are waiting out right now because they're thinking to themselves, we want to be able to, have our own kind of rights, still be able to make the kind of money. Nobody wants to lose the deal here. And one of the big things that we're talking about is AI generative writing for film. People who are writers don't want to be taken over, losing their jobs to AI. I mean, AI is taking over everything around the world right now. It seems like anything under the sun, whether it's music, art. Am I missing anything with AI generated? It's kind of a scary thing we're all experiencing right now. Wouldn't you say?
Very scary.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's unknown territory right now. So
exactly. So that's pretty much what's going on. I mean, it's just one of those things where, we looked back at 2008. I think that one was about 4 to 5 months. Some people are saying this new writer's strike might last into 2024, which will affect a lot of films coming out. Any movie that essentially, or any TV show that's in production right now had to be stopped, had to be halted on. And because of that, it's affecting movie franchises I love, like Marvel. It's affecting, movie franchises like DC. The new DC universe. It's something where right now the future of the movie industry has a lot of uncertainty, and it's just something I like to bring up just because whatever we want to make sure the writers getting paid, and I mean, I'm on their side. I say pick it, make whatever you got to do, just because strike, just because we got to make sure we keep these writers getting paid, making great films, and I think this will affect the next probably couple of years of movies that we watch. It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting thought. I don't know. It's also coincidence. It happened in 2008, which was during another recession, and we might be in a recession right now. I don't know how that always happens to correlate with each other.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
we might be onto something.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. It's Boo again with the article. We'll just have to screenshot and put new articles in. I don't know if I gave you guys
just thumbnails
rundown of what was going on. Just different thumbnails. I hope I didn't go through what was confusing on that. I stopped breathing a couple times during that whole rundown, but no, you got to get people paid.
Explained.
And I know one thing right now I'm a little nervous about is that I know the new Superman Legacy. Apparently, that's going to start filming soon. I'm big into DC, and I know that James Gunn is writing it, and he did come up with a first draft for it. But again, these movies take multiple drafts, multiple different ideas. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't affect it. I hope we still get a great movie that kicks off the new DC universe. But we'll have to see how this.
There's a lot riding on that too.
A lot riding on that. And I think we could do an entire episode about the rundown of what that, what we think the future of that could be. No, it's 100%. I mean, it's a crazy idea
DC
that James Gunn, DC needs it. And speaking of James Gunn, let's move on to movie reviews quick, Vu. And I usually get like a movie review.
Old siren going on.
Yeah, some sort of a noise. I don't know, something. But Vu, we both have seen 2 movies recently. You watched FastX, correct? I just want to confirm.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list to go to. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm the only one that watched FastX for family. And then we also saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Brad, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Are you a Marvel guy?
I wouldn't call myself a Marvel guy. I'll watch them eventually, but never in order and never in theaters, pretty much.
Hey, hopefully this show will help inspire you.
I need it.
I mean, if anything, Vu, would you want to give me a quick review of what you thought of Guardians of the Galaxy?
I thought it was a great film. I was, to be honest with you, when it came out, because the last few Marvel projects that I've watched haven't been up to par, as I would say, of what Marvel fans expect from great Marvel films. I think Endgame set the bar pretty high, and the rest of the movies and shows to come out afterwards didn't really hit that mark for me. But this movie restored my confidence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I thought it was a great film, great acting, and it's a great storyline. Every piece of that movie was in there for a reason, and it was a great ending to a fantastic trilogy in my mind. What'd you think, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, heartfelt, action-packed, pulls on your heartstrings. I mean, I think about 3 times I had, tears in my eyes. I was watching the movie with my girlfriend. We went to opening night, and she was bawling multiple times during this movie. Bawling, I'm telling you, multiple times. Like literally, it was red face. It was kind of awkward a little bit. No, but no, but it's because it's got great meaning behind it. It's got great layers of depth. I think one of the things about MCU right now is they're churning and churning, put out movies, and they're not necessarily putting them out at the same kind of quality. I think one thing you got to look at is we brought this back to James Gunn with the DC universe. It gives you excitement. It gives you a lot of hope for the future of the DCU, because you see a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, still goofy, still it's old Guardians of the Galaxy ways, of course, but it comes in with this new added layer that you never realize, like, holy crap, I can't believe I may have just watched the best trilogy, depending on who you ask, in the MCU, just with the dynamic and just very solid films. I think, the star of the movie is Rocket. I think, wouldn't you say, Vu, as well? And there's a couple of new characters as well, but it's just a movie that I highly recommend. I think Vu also recommends, and I think as well. I mean, Vu, is this your favorite movie of the year so far? I think that's what you said.
Yeah, this is hands down my favorite movie of the year. I left the movie theater bummed that it was over.
Boo
Rather
wanted to see
than
it
some
again.
previous
Boo was
Marvel
looking.
films, I was bummed because it wasn't great.
Let's
Yeah,
run it back
right away.
Yeah. Boo was
Next
looking to
day.
go back and hang out with Peter. And fun fact, Boo and I saw the Doctor Strange movie together. Just kind of a fun, we watched the movie, went to the midnight premiere, and during like a semi-scary scene, the alarm went off in our movie theater, kind of like what you experienced, Brad. Boo, did I tell you that Brad also went to a movie and the alarms went off during it?
during the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah,
No
at
way.
the same. Yeah, at the same theater.
Oh,
Yeah, so he went to the so he
Same
went through the
theater?
same experience
The
as us.
Regal?
Yeah, same theater. Yeah, the Regal downtown.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
just a great film.
Oh,
We
man.
highly recommend it. I get out of 5 stars, I give it a solid 4. I really enjoyed it, and I think it really has a really high rewatchability factor to it as well.
Kevin, other than Guardians of the Galaxy 3, what other
Yep.
Marvel movies have you cried to?
Oh, it's a good question. Oh, Endgame. The beginning of Endgame, I remember I was when they're all sitting there and they're all talking in the circle about what life's been like together through the 5 years. I think the Russo brothers, one of them, is talking about how he's going back on dates. And he met a man, and it's just like it added such a gosh, I could not believe the MCU did this. You know what I mean? I think the MCU right now is stuck in this whole multiverse saga, which I think everyone was excited about because I think the comics were amazing with the multiverse saga. But at the same time, there's nothing ground level. There's nothing, there's not a lot of nuance right now. And just that movie, I still think to this day should have been nominated for an Oscar. I don't know. I maybe I'm a little overhyped about it. Did you see that one, Brad?
Oh yeah, I saw those
One of my
two-parter. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of my favorite of all time. I mean, it just, after the ending of the other movie, that movie it got me good. I'm trying to think of other ones. Do you have any other ones that made you feel like I'm telling you, Brad, it's one that I don't even think if you even like Guardians of the Galaxy, it'll make you tear up too. It's just it's not like a sad movie. It's just it's a you're not it pulls at your heartstrings. I don't know.
And this is the last film that they're all in was a big deal for me. Just you didn't want it to end, really.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt.
Yeah. It's the end of this group, but who knows? May not be the end of them forever. And that'll be for a spoiler discussion that Vu and I did record, but the sound was crap on it, so we decided not to upload it. But but yeah, maybe someday you guys can hear my echoey as hell voice. We can do that. All right, cool. Well then, let's move on then, and then FastX. I'll guys give you a rundown. It's like the Dark Knight and the Avengers Infinity War had sex with a car. It was a fun time. I went to the movie expecting not to like it, and I actually ended up really having a good time. It's all about family. I think my movie theater may have been the biggest fans in the entire state of Colorado, all in one theater, because it was hype. People were jumping in the air, yelling, like fist pumping for scenes. I mean, it was an experience. It was a really good time. So I actually really enjoyed it. Because I've never had a bad time. It's just turn your brain off kind of a film. The movies, of course, everyone can hate on because it's become a little unrealistic. Some would say, whatever. So what? Somebody can pick up entire car with one arm, or fly out of space, whatever. I can get past that. But the idea that there's not one Honda or Ford Focus on the on the road during any of these movies, come on, that's where I draw the line. Or a Hyundai Elantra, that's the number one car in the world. But whatever, they're all driving sick cars. But no, I just enjoyed it. I mean, it's just fun. Vin Diesel's. He's literally a superhero now. It's crazy, dude. I think there's so many absurd scenes, dude. I just laugh thinking about it. And the writing's
Kev, when do you
trash,
think
too.
the script switched? Yeah. When it switched from it being, racing focused to, save the world focused? When would you say, which movie was that for you?
I think it was after Tokyo Drift. I think it was called. I think it was called The Fast and the Furious. And it was when Vin Diesel's wife was killed. I think 5 was like the official when The Rock came in. When The Rock came in and it became $1 billion franchise. I think that's when it truly became like, kind of a little unbelievable. I mean, there's one scene where they took a bank vault out of the walls and destroyed the entire city somewhere in Colombia. Like, it was just crazy. So I think it was probably around 4 or 5 when people were dying and coming back to life. And doing insane, like, somebody, I think it was 4. One guy, like, the guy propelled the woman out and he caught her in the midair. Like, it's so good. I love these movies. I just can't help it. I really love them, man. My dopamine levels are high when I'm watching them. So, yeah. And then I saw last week. I saw a movie called Blackberry. Oh yeah, they're fun. So I definitely highly recommend it. It's better than 9. Not as good as. I actually liked it better than 8, and it's not as good as 7, which was Paul Walker's last movie. So
did you cry at the end of 7?
Yes, I did. I did cry at that one. Yes. When I see you again.
You're not human if you don't cry.
Dude, I watched that. That's also in my movie scenes. It's in my movie scenes, man. If you ever, I need to section it out better where it's like this area is the crying part. So it's like, I created a playlist of like the 200 best movie and TV show scenes of all time. Find it. I think it's on YouTube on private, so nobody will find it unless I send it to you. I'll have to share with you, man. But it was good. Yeah. It was good. And then I saw Blackberry last week. Great movie. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. It's a fun little clip. Did you guys ever see Nintendo Wii Shop Update Wednesday? It was like a video where it was like these guys are running downstairs, and there's an old YouTube grainy film. He's like, "Hey, get downstairs! Get downstairs! The Wii Shop updated tonight." He's like, "What?" And then they all jump down, and they're like, there's like joints and like bongs in the room, and they're just like singing a stupid. You guys don't know what I'm talking about, do you? All right, well, it's old YouTube. It's hilarious, and the guy who was in that movie, which directed this film, which right now I think has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, comes with Jay Baruchel's in it as well, and Glenn Howerton. Is he from?
Yes, Always Sunny.
Always Sunny, exactly. Plays essentially how the BlackBerry was found, pretty much the entire life cycle of the BlackBerry. And I think it's just a great film. It's very much on the same kind of scope as sorry, I just got a text message from a coworker. This is what happens when you connect your phone. It's on the same level as I would say like The Big Short, and mixed with like The Social Network, but it's also kind of like people describe it as being more kind of like a little more comical. So great movie. I definitely recommend. Less than 2 hours. It was a good time. Highly recommend it for anybody out there who wants to watch it. So, all right. And then if we want to go through quickly what we are watching, Vu, what are you watching right now? And Brad, once Vu's done, you can run through yours as well.
Sorry, my connection's a little laggy right now. Can you guys hear
you're
me?
fine. Yeah, we can hear you. It's totally fine. No one's gonna care the dead air space. It's fine.
Oh.
No. Did you hear what we were saying? We're gonna run through what are we watching?
Yep. I heard a little snip of that, so wanted to check my connection.
All right, just run. Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Am I going on? Am I up first? Awesome. Yeah, right now, Succession is my #1 show. I just started like 3-4 weeks ago, and I have binged it completely. I could not stop. Unlike Brad, I got through it. It is a dense show. So, but yeah, that's my #1 show right now. Also on and off again, watching Sopranos for the first time. It's super interesting to me. And my guilty pleasure is Jersey Shore Family Vacation on MTV. Just getting the whole gang back together.
How is that? That's interesting. I'm also watching Succession, and I would also add I'm watching Dave and Barry. Brad, you can go next. But I mean, how is the Jersey Shore Family Vacation? What the hell's going on there? How are they? Are they all like old? Is it actually like entertaining still?
Yeah, they're all old. they all have families now, which is crazy. I grew up watching the show in high school, and it's just cool to see where they're at now and what kind of troubles are brewing, and there's a lot of them still. So it's definitely entertaining and definitely a guilty pleasure. No, it's all over now. They do different trips all across the country. Yeah. For a while, they had to stay in America because of the situation being arrested. So, but now he's
oh my God. Is Ronnie in it still? That little bugaloo of muscle, that meatball.
Yeah, he had to take a little break for rehab.
I heard about that.
I think he's gonna be on the next season. Yep, with Sammy. Sammy wasn't on the first 5 seasons of Family Vacation, and now she's coming back. So it's a big deal.
That might pull me in. Who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah, the sweetest bitch you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're getting a lot of memories. Brad, what are you watching right now, buddy?
I am just a sucker for your 20 to 30 minute comedies. So I'm just going to preface that when I say I've been watching Abbott Elementary and Superstore, because I'm a sucker for a will they, won't they romance in a workplace. You had The Office, I'm just a sucker for it.
What are some other ones? Haven't there been other ones besides The Office? Are there other? Wasn't there one maybe I'm thinking of Superstore.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yep.
I guess you don't really get it much in 30 Rock.
No, not too much. You're right. 30 Rock is
Community.
Funny. Community. Yeah, for sure. Are they all NBC? Is Superstore NBC as well?
It is.
See, that makes sense. Sorry, carry on. Don't want to ruin your flow.
But so yeah, the final one I want to talk about is Dave season 3. I mean, Dave Bird, aka Lil Dicky, it's just incredible his journey. He went from kind of comedic white rapper to very impressive writer director of a comedy show on FXX.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a damn good show. I'm watching as well. I've watched. I'd say it started off a little slow for me. Season 1. Some people didn't like season 2. I really like season 2, and I think season 3 so far has just been very, very entertaining. It's just fun to see the whole group together. Is this the last season or no? Right? This is just the beginning as well.
I don't know if they're going to continue it. That's a good question.
Seems like every damn show I'm watching is ending. I mean, I'm watching Succession, Barry's ending, and I think Ted Lasso is also ending, which Ted Lasso, I just want to say, has been kind of a disappointment. It's still easy to watch. Good people do good things, but not as up to par as the other seasons for that show.
Expectations were high for that. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Did you start it, Brad, this new season?
Not the newest season yet. I like to binge these kinds of shows, like the comedies.
Yeah. What about you, Vu? Did you watch that one?
Seen Ted Lasso yet? Is it a must-watch?
Yeah. It's if you need something to watch, I would watch it. Kind of a situation. Would you agree, Brad? Probably.
Yeah, it's a feel good. If you want to feel good.
Yeah, you really do feel good, and they have a lot of good themes this season. So. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. So, all right, we are at 48 minutes. I'd be surprised. We got a ton of people listening still, but hell, I told you, this isn't going to be that. We got some structure, but we're going to ramble. So here's the main event of the evening. The top 5 movies of the summer we are looking forward to, baby. It's already started off. I'd say Guardians of the Galaxy kicked it all off for everybody this summer, and I think it ends with I think went till September 1st for me personally. I don't know when your guys' summer ends, but and I'm actually it's weird. We all came up with a list of the top 5, and I actually have an honorable mention as well. I saw that Brad had one for bonus pick, but I like that. So, how about this? Let's run down and give you kind of your thoughts, why you're excited, those situations. Vu, if you want to go first, and then Brad, and then I can end it off.
Sure. My top 5 list for this summer, no order, are FastX. I just love the series. Love the main A-list cast in it. The Flash. Yeah. I'm really excited because I think this is about to reset the DC universe. So a lot of high expectations, a lot of good reviews so far for the pre-screenings on this, and I'm just very excited to see how this is going to unfold. Barbie, just because of that cast as well, I think that'll be a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I think you are the only one that did Barbie. I like that. I like that decision. That's my honorable mention. And I think Greta Gerwig. You got Ryan Gosling. You've got Margot Robbie. John Cena's in it. Now, what's interesting about Barbie is it a comedy? Is it a serious movie? Kind of like how Greta Gerwig. Like what is Barbie? Do you have any idea at all? Have you read anything about it, Vu, or are you kind of just excited for the damn hype all built around it?
Have you heard any rumors?
No, the trailers don't tell you anything.
Yeah,
I mean, of course they say I think they do like a joke where it's like, it's like Simu Liu, who I also like, and Ryan Gosling are like, I'm gonna pound you. It seems like it's a jokey movie, but I mean, with Greta Gerwig at the helm, I'm sure there's got to be some sort of a deeper meaning behind it. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there. Just I love that you put that on there as in your top as your number 3 on my list here. So and that's my honorable mention. My girlfriend's number 1 movie of the year. We're going to LA in July, and we're gonna see Oppenheimer, and we're gonna see Barbie. That weekend, the release same day. So we'll see who wins.
Be a big weekend. Yep. Exactly.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, that's also on my list of top 5 movies. That'll be a very good one. I'm excited. Christopher Nolan's directing it, so very high hopes for that one. Very high hopes. I
cut you off, and then you had one more as well. You had Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yep. So I watched the first one, and it's just a feel-good movie. It's just an interesting movie, a nice spin on things, introduced us to the multiverse in a way for that one. So just curious as to how they're gonna add on to the storyline of Miles Morales.
No, great. Thank you so much for running through your top 5 list. It's a great rundown. Brad, you're up, baby.
Here we go. I actually have an ordered list. I'm like Vu. I had to have order. I needed it. So number 1 has to be Oppenheimer. I am an absolute Christopher Nolan stan. Greatest director out there. I will fight anybody.
Number 1.
He's number 1. So that's why I'm excited for it, because it's about one of the most important events in the world. If we didn't win this race, we wouldn't be here. So
yeah,
it's going to be epic.
What is the line? It was like in the trailer. It's like, we gave the power to end man, or something like it's just like the hype behind it. I mean, the cast behind it too. It's like every great white actor ever made is in it, I think. No, I completely. What's your favorite movie, Brad, for Christopher Nolan?
Oh, putting me on the spot like that.
Sorry, or just give me a couple.
It has to be Interstellar, probably, but
okay.
You got to give credit to like Memento. You got to give credit to Prestige. I mean, that movie is just brilliant, and you got to give credit to Inception, of course.
I completely agree. No Dark Knight in there. That's okay. I'll let it pass.
It's in the tier 2. It's tier 2.
Well, it's exactly when it comes to and that's another thing I also want to do someday, guys. Is the IMDb 250 ranking, but we don't have to talk about this. Whatever. All right, sorry, Brad. We'll get back into it. Get back into it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Of course. Number 2, we're going with The Flash. I mean, I'm just a sucker for The Flash. I think it's just a really cool character. I love things that go fast. But I'm curious with this whole Ezra Miller stuff going on. Like, is he going to ruin the momentum of DC? Because this is also a massive movie for him. So I'll be very curious, but I hear good things, so I'm excited.
I mean, there's a reason that they didn't shut it down. I literally thought that, with everything that's going on, you could have just taken $200 million, thrown it away. But they're convinced that it's going to make them a lot of money and essentially set up their new universe. No, I agree.
So I'm behind that. Number 3, also got to say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Just super cool animation style that they did that, Marvel hasn't really done before. So I was really impressed with the first, and I'm excited for the second. I've got Talk to Me. I'm a big fan of A24 horror movies.
I love that.
Witch. We're talking Hereditary. We're talking Midsommar. So the next one to come out is Talk to Me. And based on the trailer that I saw, it looks fucking scary. So I'm excited for that.
Hell yeah.
Number 5, we're going Asteroid City. I think Wes Anderson is a geek of a director, and his movies are always just hilarious.
Yeah.
And so this one's about like supernatural and like space, and like that's just my kind of jam. So I'm all about it. And then I had to get a bonus
Steve
pick.
Carell, right?
I believe it's got a lot of people.
A lot of people.
It's a classic
Yeah.
Wes Anderson cast.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. Yep.
Not Will Ferrell, but
Right film?
Tom Hanks is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm trying to think who else.
Margot Robbie, Jason Schwartzman. Schwartzman I think is in like every single Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, he's good. Sorry,
but I had to give it. I need a bonus pick in here because Lord Huron, the greatest band in the world, created the music for a movie. It's an indie film called The Starling Girl.
Oh, interesting.
So I had to share that because not every day is your favorite band making, I guess, the soundtrack for a movie.
Yeah. No, I love it. Those are great choices there, man. Anything else you want to add before we move on to this?
I'm just looking forward to your list, man.
Yeah.
You're the movie buff.
Well, okay. So I'm a movie buff, but I'm also someone who lives for the summer, summer blockbusters. You know what I mean? Like I go into the summer now. I swear I've got a better. You guys are all gonna be like, "Oh, Kevin, of course you picked those movies." But I swear that I watch a lot of movies, and I think these are all gonna be great films. So for me, Oppenheimer's my number one. Number one director in the world. I think Hans Zimmer returns to this. But the thing that's pulling me in for this movie is old Peaky Blinders, Cillian Murphy. I think that he's never really had a lot of, I guess he's worked with Christopher Nolan in the past, with, the Dark Knight series and also with Inception, but he's never really been kind of the starring man of a show. I think he was recently in, what is that quiet movie, where they can't talk, and it was the second one by John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, A Quiet Place. Thank you so much. He was recently in that. I thought he was fantastic in that, and I think Peaky Blinders is one of the greatest Netflix series of all time. So it's gonna be great to see him do this. I think he's really gonna epitomize this. One thing about Cillian Murphy is that he is gonna act his ass off for any scene and any moment. So I think it's gonna be great to see it all happen. I think there's a great cast behind it, and I think it's just great after Tenet. I think a lot of people forget about Tenet just because of the time frame it came out in 2020. I think this is really the real comeback for Christopher Nolan, and as Norman, I love it. So number two is
they're going to create the first nuclear weapon detonation without CGI. Come on.
Yeah, it's legit, man. I can't wait to see it, dude. I cannot wait to see it, dude. It's gonna be fantastic. That's a great point. Flash is my number two. Now, I've been a big DC guy, even, with the Ezra back in the Justice League. I even enjoyed those. For me, this is rumored to be kind of like the restarting point for the new DCU, and we can go into that even deeper, but it's just going to be a good movie. You got Batman, you got a new, different, alternate version of Superman, but it's Supergirl. I think, from what all the reviews say, it's just exciting. I love Christopher McQuarrie, who did the It franchise, which I love those movies. Second one, actually, for me, the more I think about it, but, it's going to be a movie that I think is going to be, putting some asses in the seats. I think there's a reason that Ezra Miller, with all this, really, I think the press junket is just with Michael Keaton. They're not even talking about Ezra Miller. So I think they have so much faith in this movie that it's going to be fantastic. Tom Cruise was talking about how this was just one of his favorite, or he recently saw it, loved it. And that guy doesn't even really watch movies, I'm pretty sure. Everyone just talks and hypes up how amazing it is. So I'm really excited for it. I think DC, the old DC is going to be a great bridge from the old DC to the new DC. Put a good cherry on top of the old DC that fans like me loved. And I think it's going to be a good tribute to it all. And hopefully my dream goal is that Christian Bale returns in this movie as well. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I'm hearing that.
Awesome.
I haven't heard anything. I've just heard theories about it. There's a lot of things that it might happen. So I would absolutely love if that happened. And hell, maybe even if somehow Superman returned, that'd be kind of insane too. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would throw it over the top. But I've just heard great things. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, probably my favorite movie of all time that I had no expectation of loving as much as I did. Is that true? What did you guys think? Did you guys have an expectation?
What a great category that was.
Yeah, sorry. It's a. Wouldn't you agree? It was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it would be like just a kids movie, but there was so much depth to it.
It might be my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it might be.
Whoa.
It was that good. It was that good to me. The story behind it. So I think, and it made about $500 million the first time because people like you and me didn't have the highest expectations, didn't know what to expect with it. It's just just a kids film under the Sony umbrella. So for me personally, I'm thinking they're going to be doing it, kind of like if you guys know of Tears of the Kingdom, essentially just took one of the greatest video games of all time and essentially made it better to where you almost forget about that one. So I think hopefully they just do the same with this, add a new layer to it of just excitement. And I think it's going to be not a pleasant surprise this time, but it's going to be a home run. Just it's going to be the Aaron Judge of the movies this summer if you're into sports. And then my 4 and 5, this is what's a little boring. I actually had Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on there, and I had Fast 5 as my number 5. And then number 6, I've already run through those two, but number 6 is Barbie for me as well. So I mean, is there any others you guys can think of where you were kind of missing? You guys are also excited for? I don't have a list in front of me.
I think just Barbie is such a mystery that when was the last time there was a mystery like this surrounding a movie?
Right. You don't really know what it is and what
That's
situation
why I had to add it onto the list.
I completely agree.
It's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, and then I think we're gonna. I think I completely agree with you. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lot of different lists. I think we're at the hour mark, so I've taken a lot of you guys' time. Thank you guys so much for doing this with me today. This is episode 1, but we got a lot of things coming. This is just the beginning for us. And I think I'm excited to be back to the movies. Movies are back. Film industry's back. This is the first great summer since 2020. I think it just feels so so good. And man, did I miss it. So, hey guys, I appreciate you guys all jumping on with me today. Do you guys have anything you guys want to say before we log off?
Just want to say thank you, Sexy Kev, for bringing us on.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Kev.
Thank you, guys. I love it. I love podcasting.
We're listening.
Hell yeah, man. I love podcasts and I love talking movies with you guys, talking shop. So, all right, follow us at Filmaholics Entertainment Podcast. I'm going to be posting on my Mr. Kevin Corcoran, which is my entire name, which I hate that I added that to this, but it's my YouTube. I'm going to be creating an actual channel for this too as well. Hey guys, I'll see you for episode 2. Looking forward to it. Talk to you later.
Stay sexy.
Stay sexy, baby. Come on now. Peace.